welcome to Motors Television's coverage of day 2 of the penultimate round of the World Rally Championship for 2011. It takes us to WRC Spain in the Catalonian hills, and first day, big dust on the first stage from the leading cars, and Danny Sordo, the local hero, was frustrated and some 43 seconds away from the pace. Not as frustrated as Peter Solberg and Ken Block, who both retired as a result of losing their line of sight and making contact with a drainage culvert. Loeb, though, surprised to see that being the leader on gravel on day 1 allowed him to pull away. And Mikko Kievonen seemed to have a problem yet again on the opening stage of the day and ran wide, lost himself some time. And there's the story of Block and Solberg trudging back after making contact, and that was the result of Peter Solberg's car. Here's the onboard of it, and then you can see the impact after Alex Gelsomino had just called, don't cut, but unfortunately Block did cut, and that was the end result. Latvala was one of the absolute superstars of the day, really flying hard and taking the lead of the rally. It was between Loeb and Latvala all the way to the end as they went into a night stage, the dust hanging again with virtually no wind. Jari Matti Latvala was to have a spin and then make contact with a rock, which was to cost him some 46 seconds.
Tough day for me, very slippery roads, a lot of loose gravel, and we had to push very hard because we knew that we are not in the best situation to on the road, so we had to push hard to try and keep close from the first position, and finally my rivals made some mistakes, and we are leading tonight.
Well, it's been a long day and very dusty. Okay, in many states it hasn't been so nice to drive, and there's been so much justice, you know, first and second stage and then the last one again, so long day. We're still there.
So with those two drivers tied on points, it's Loeb that leads Latvala by 30.6 after Latvala was leading by 16 seconds going into that final stage. Kievonen now in third ahead of Ogier, Sordo and Meek, fighting hard with Osberg, Henning Solberg, Novikov, and the rest rounding out the top 10. Big changes to the cars overnight from effectively an all gravel day on Friday to the Saturday and Sunday stages being the traditional tarmac stages. So a complete change of the cars, brake, suspension, just about everything you can think of to put them into tarmac spec for the activities that we're about to see. This time lapse gives you a great idea of just how hard the guys have to work to get those cars ready.
We get rid of the dust tomorrow, you're back on tarmac. How much of a challenge is that for you to adapt to that driving style?
Well, I'm sure it will be in a couple of corners in the morning, but it depends. If it's dry, then it's not going to be that big issue. But if it's wet, then it's again you have to find, you know, right tire first and then find the grip level as well. But on dry conditions, it's not going to take too long.
It will be important to try to get immediately in the rhythm, find the limit of the car also, because it's a very different driving style. And then we will see. I hope it will go well.
Well, the rally is based in Salou, which is some 125 k's south of Barcelona and 550 k's east of Madrid. 6 stages on day 2, 144 k's a total. 479 k's is the longest rally on the WRC in 2011. And the longest stage of the rally is the 45.97k El Priorat stage, with the legendary El Mola hairpin already attracting the fans, and Loeb knows this stage so well. The choice, as we heard, that perhaps there may be is between soft and hard tyres. It seems though as everyone's gone for hard tyres, although it's a relatively cool morning, certainly no chance of rain forecast, and Loeb charges into a stage he knows so well. It was 42 k's last year, and immediately apparent as the split time started to come through behind him that he was in good shape. Effortless, flowing racing driver style that he has, ever in evidence, absolute economy of effort. 6 times a winner consecutively on this event. Headset made some changes, so it's not possible to cut so much here. The tarmac sitting high now. This man has been so impressive so far. Frustration at the end of the day on day one with that spin, and then the puncher putting him down the order a little bit further into second. But then another very precise drive from Jari-Matti, and on a 45k stage of splits coming through, showing that he is within striking distance of Sebastian Loeb. Mika Hievinen, by his own admission, didn't get the result that he was hoping for on day one. Certainly he seemed to struggle more than Latvala did in the conditions. And certainly compared to Latvala, it's not as keen on tarmac, of course. He comes through with the 4th fastest time. The battle he is having is with Dani Sordo, potentially for that final podium position. Well, Ogier split showing that he is on a par with Jari-Matti Latvala, who in turn is not far away from Loeb, so the fight for the opening stage win could be very close. But a puncher for Sebastian Ogier, and on such a long stage, he has no choice but to change it. And that, realistically, is the end of his challenge for rally victory. Well, the local hero, Dani Sordo, won this stage both times last year when he was in the C4 as teammate, of course, to Sebastian Loeb. Lost so much time on the opening stage of the day. He was 11th on the road on Friday on the morning stage when there was all the dust. Lost 43 seconds and never really got back into contention throughout the day, although he was put in some solid times later on. Relatively little testing of the John Cooper Works Mini, but Sordo still comes through 3rd fastest time on the stage. And that will, of course, put him ahead of Ogier with Ogier's problem. Meek is likely to move ahead as well. And watch towards the end of the stage now. What can Sebastian Loeb do with Latvala? It's hugely impressive, pushing hard. Wins the stage.
So that's the end of the first day of Saturday morning. There's only really Latvala who's keeping up with you. It's been a great drive from you.
Yeah, good drive. Long stage, but I was feeling well. The car was very well balanced, so that's very important in a long stage like this. So I had a very good drive. I think constant from the start to the end, and no mistakes. So I'm happy with that.
You've got a bit of a sweat on there. You've been working hard.
Yeah, even if it's early in the morning, I sweat a lot. It's 45 kilometers on tarmac, so you have to fight a bit.
Well, there's not a better man to have in a fight on tarmac than Sebastian Loeb. And Latvala, his split showing that on this 45-kilometre stage is around about a 1/10 of a second per kilometre away from Loeb, which is awesome stuff. And Jari-Matti Mikosalo has been coaching him, and he's loving this surface. He loves the Fiesta, and the times are reflecting that. What's the gap going to be, though? Can he actually get ahead of Loeb? It looks like Loeb's done enough. Beautifully precise driving from Jari-Matti.
200 maali, vasen 4, älä kaide.
Just 4.3 away from Loeb. Awesome stuff from Jari-Matti. Fantastic start.
Jari, you deserve a big pat on the back and a smile. What a stage, Simon. Only 4.3 in 40 It's 5Ks, only 46Ks down on Loeb.
Yeah, it is. It is my best performance on this stage ever. I have never been so quick on this stage, which I can be happy about it. But on the other hand, it's not enough. I'm 30 seconds behind, so I should be 4 seconds ahead.
Well, frustration for Sebastian Ogier with that split, with that puncture rather, the split times up to that point where he had that showing him ahead of everybody until the midway split. He was a little bit away from Loeb, but almost on the same time as Garimati. Having recovered, be interesting to see what he can actually come through as at the end of the stage.
Sur gauche en 30 bon corps de tenir, sur droite 120 pas corde, droite 120 pas corde, 40 mètres, droite 120 moins tenir, 120 moins tenir, sur gauche surtout pas corde, sur droite 120 plus bref qui ouvre, 80 mètres gauche 130 bon mini juste, 80 mètres, arrivé.
Well, after that delay, he loses 1 minute 44 seconds and drops to 6th overall, 0.4 of a second behind Chris Meek.
Sebastian, a stop in the stage and 140 down. What happened?
Another puncture. And this time I was completely in the middle of the road.
Front, rear?
Yesterday it was my fault, but today I really don't know.
So huge frustration for Ogier. Loeb though wins the stage and extends the lead by 4.3 to 34.9. Heaverden, Sordo, Meek now just ahead of Ogier. Then Osberg, Henning, Novikov and Matt Wilson round out the top 10 at the end of the opening stage of day 2. Well, advantage Loeb over Ogier. Heaverden still in there, and of course Latvala with that performance looking superb. Join us for more action from Spain in just a moment on Motors TV. So after the opening stage of Saturday, it's a 34.9 second lead that Loeb has over Latvala. Latvala, of course, was leading up to the final stage of the day. Then a puncher. Big fight between Citroën and Ford. Let's hear from Sven Smeets.
There's been a lot of controversy in Citroën. It's actually added to the excitement for the fans of the WRC, but I guess for you it's been difficult.
No, it's not been difficult. It's been sometimes disappointing to lose cars at the end of the season in the last 2 rallies. And, you know, there was Australia, there's been Rally France for Sebastian Loeb, so we're back in a fight now with Mikko, and it's going to be 2 stressful rallies, yes, but we still have 2 drivers that became world champions, so we're in a good position.
We've had a disappointing year in one sense, because I can't remember as really, you know, the Ford team being so competitive all year with so few victories. But I think it just shows that the consistency and the commitment, everything from the whole team has paid off because of this position we're in now with 2 events to go, that, you know, we could end up getting the championship.
Under what circumstances will Sebastian Ogier be allowed to fight for the World Championship?
Yeah, for the moment he's 3 points behind. Our main target is to be in front of Mikko Hevonen, so the 2 will drive like they were doing in France, and we will see tomorrow night and during the rally who is leading, how it is strategically. But the thing is, we have to beat Mikko Hevonen.
We've got a fairly clear understanding of what we need to do. I mean, in real terms, what we need to do is Mikko needs to be ahead of Sebastian, and it'll be very simple, job done.
Where do your priorities lie? Is it with the manufacturer's title, or is it with getting a driver championship under Mikko's belt?
No, I think being realistic, the manufacturer's title is probably one step too far. But the Drivers' Championship is, well, it's, as everybody knows, level points with Loeb. It's completely open. So the main emphasis, I have to say, is going to go behind Mikko.
If you're fighting for the Drivers' title, it means you have to score big points to stay in the race, and big points means for us that the manufacturer's title could be safe this weekend. So they're actually linked.
Well, if they stay as they are, it's going to be another title for Citroën. Go to another 2 stages, the Ribeirão-Debre stage, the 12.27k stage. In fact, is the tarmac section that was on stage 2 on the opening day, but running reverse, so very, very flat. No rest was the way it was described, just constant turning. And stage 8 and stage 9 we're seeing here, with stage 8 proved to be another victory for Sebastian Loeb. And with it, his 802nd stage win, taking him ahead of Marco Allen's record, the legend that is Marco Allen Latvala. Well, Toivonen was his hero, but of course Allen was his teammate, Toivonen's that is. He certainly got the same sort of panache at this moment in his career that Allen had. Just 1.1 away from Loeb on stage 8. Yeah, then 36 seconds at the end of stage 8. Here on stage 9, let's see what on the Punta delle Torres stage, the 13.53k stage.
10 oikein 1, heti vasen 1, 50, vasen 3 nipyn pidä, 40, oikein 3 miinus aukee. Jatkuu vasen 2 pirun, mitkä aukee, eli nypyn älä lopussa.
Loeb has come through in a 7.08.9. What can Jari-Matti do? He's looking superb at the moment.
80, oikein 1 lynnipyn keskeltä, 50, vasen 2. 20 lyhyt oikein 3, 50, vasen 2 lynnipyn keventää, heti oikein 2, 30, nyppy vasen 3, jatkuu vasen 2 yli nyppyn älä kivi 10, nyppy vasen 3 miinus. 30 oikein 2 pikkusuppu 10, vasen 2 jarru 10 oikein.
Wonderful, almost Loeb-like precision from Jari-Matti.
Jatkuu vasen 1, 30 vasen 2, 30 nyppy vasen laita, jatkuu oikein 2 kirraa 3, älä kaide ahdas.
No exuberance, just supremely tidy. And he comes through to win the stage. Jari-Matti Latvala wins stage 9 by just over 3.2 seconds ahead of Loeb. So how inspired is Mikko Hievinen after that? Well, on stage 8, we saw Hievinen come through with the 6th fastest time. What he can do on stage 9.
Jatkuu oikein Serbo, kirra suppuun. 8. Vasen Serbo, tiukka. Pidä 2. Oikein tosi hidas. Heti vasen oikein vasen tosi hidas, mene ja aukee. Jarru. Oikein tosi hidas, mene ja aja. 2. Oikein tosi hidas, mene ja aja. 100. Vasen tosi hidas, pidä. Ja oikein nopea, tiukka. Jarru. Pitkä vasen tosi.
Fifth fastest for Hievinen on 9. Loses 3 seconds to Dani Sordo. Roger now is pushing hard to get himself one more position up the leaderboard, but has admitted after that puncture he's lacking motivation.
Sur droite y tenir, 50 mètres, droite 100 000 tard qui ferme poussière, 100 000 tard.
On stage 8,
Gauche 90 plus Milon.
came through with the 4th fastest time, 3.8 faster than Meek, and moved ahead of Meek by 3.4 seconds. Dani Sordo 3rd fastest on stage 8. 0.3 away from Latvala on that stage. 89.4 behind Mikko Hievinen. That's his fight really now to try to close down Hievinen. Sordo is to come through with the 3rd fastest time on stage 9 and take another chunk of time out of Hievinen, now 46.8 the gap. 2.6 quicker was Sordo. We saw the dust flying around inside Chris Meek's car on day one. The Dungannon man had said the mission is to learn and to improve each pass through.
Tightens the 4 left, don't constantly continues into right, double tightens into right, minus 460, tightens for 1 right, all the way around the city as well. And 3 left, don't cut, opens 100, long 5 left, plus 200, left, keep out, tightens the 5 left, don't cut, the 5 right, minus, don't cut, stay middle for 80, 80, tight 4 left, big stop, 20 deceptive for 1 right, tightens 30. 120 long, 6 left, big stop, 80, slipping.
So stage 9, Meek comes through the 6th fastest time, just 0.4 of a second behind Hieverden on stage times there. He's now 5.9 behind Sebastian Ogier. He was 4th fastest on that stage, as we mentioned earlier. Well, for Osberg, day 1 was hampered somewhat by being on gravel with a tarmac diff. That's obviously not an issue for day 2, as we can see. Was to comment of a big vibration on stage 7. Braking issues on stage 8 and 9 to the point where he was really concerned about being able to stop the car at all on some of the stages, some of the parts of the stages rather. 8th fastest, 1.6 behind Novikov on the stage time. 26.8 away from Chris Meek at the end of stage 8.
Litt sen kort 4 höger, håll in. I kort 3 vänster minus. 3 höger minus som nyper kort. 2 vänster plus som nyper litt. 2 höger minus som nyper 1 plus.
Stage 9 was to lose another 2.1 seconds now. Still in 7th overall, 28.9 behind Meek, and the highest position of the Stobart Fords. Well, Henning had a problem with not being able to hear Ilkka Minor on day 1 with an intercom problem cutting in and out, and his problem today is he's feeling absolutely atrocious. He's got a very bad head cold.
Tightens 2, 30, short 3 left, 100, flat 6 left minus, 150, line to 6 left minus, to flat 6 right minus.
His brother retiring on the opening stage of the rally. Family honours lie on Henning's lap. He's 10th fastest on stage 8.
And left 1 shot again, right 1 half shot and left 2 half shot.
Now, Evgeny Novikov, a different situation altogether for him now aboard a DS3 for the first time, evaluating his programme for 2012. Of course, has yet to finish a rally in 2011, has been spectacularly quick, a number of top 3 stage times on board the Ford. Of course, Denis Girardet, as he wags a knowing finger at the 21-year-old Russian, has been alongside him when he had the hugest shunt you've seen for a long time in Australia. Another one, smaller, admittedly, in France. An intermittent steering problem for Evgeny Novikov, still sitting there though in 9th position. Loeb though leads by 32.8 ahead of Dari Matilapara. Sordo closing in on Hieverden and Ogier closing in on Sordo slightly, but Meek now fighting to keep a good top 6 position.
Sebastian, you're back at the service park with still a comfortable lead. Now talk us through your morning.
For me, the morning was really good. It was important to find the right rhythm in the first stage, because it's the longest of the rally. It's 45 kilometers long, and immediately I had a good feeling with the car, with the tarmac setup, and the car was good. So I didn't take big risks, trying to avoid the puncture as much as possible. At the moment, it's okay, and so we are here still with nearly the same gap, no problem.
Jari-Matti, some great pace there you've shown on asphalt today, proving your speed, but also that of the car.
Yeah, the car is going really well. I'm really happy with the setup of the car. It's turning very well, and actually very lighty to drive. This morning has been my best driving in Catalonia ever. Be a little bit slower than Sebastian Loeb, On the other hand, if we want to fight with him, we should be a bit quicker, but it's quite a big task to do.
Why do you think you've been off the pace?
I don't know. I really don't understand. I'm really confused because I've been really trying hard, and suspension of the car, like setup-wise, it feels really good. So, and especially the first stage and the second stage, driving felt very good. There was no mistakes, and everything was very nice and flowing. But times were really bad. So, I'm really confused why the times are that bad.
So a confused and frustrated Järvinen, an impressive Latvala and impeccable Sebastian Loeb. Sordo charging hard in front of his home fans. Can he do anything about Järvinen? No, we shall find out. Join us in a few moments on Motors TV for more action from Spain. So after service, the crews go back to the magnificent El Priorat stage, the El Mola hairpin. That's where all the fans will gather at 45.97k stage. Provide a thrilling battle between Loeb and Latvala, perhaps unexpected. Loeb, in fact, has extended his lead slightly from where he was at the start of the day by just over 2 seconds over Latvala, and who would have thought it would have been that close between the two of them. Much warmer conditions, of course. Saw how hard Loeb had worked through this stage on the opening run-through.
Attention, droite 120 plus long. Plus 1,6 c'est gauche 145 frein rasé. Pour droite 130 moins long. 100 mètres. Gauche 130 plus long. 150 mètres gauchier frein. Pour attention 130 mètres gauche 140 moins mi-court. Sur droitier.
Wonderful sensation of speed from Sebastian Loeb through this awesome piece of road in Salo. Comes through the time of 25.42.3 for Sebastian Loeb, so 25 minutes 42.3. Remember, Jari-Matti was only 4.3 seconds slower than Loeb on that first pass. Stage 7, the first one of Saturday morning. He said at service in his interview, I should be quicker than Loeb. I need to be quicker than Loeb. Very happy Mika Antila alongside him. His wife Marita gave birth to a baby girl overnight. So Latvala pushing hard to give Antila something more to celebrate, and the split times looking awesome for Latvala. Is on a level, on a par with Loeb, in fact.
10 varo, oikein ypsli nypyn heti 2 jarru, jatkuu oikein 4 miinus. 20,5 kirraa Äläkinen pitkä, jatkuu oikein 5. Heti 3 miinus soraa, pidä, heti oikein 4 suppu, heti oikein 5 suppu, heti oikein 5, jatkuu oikein 2,30, 4. 4.
Absolutely impeccable driving from Jari-Matti Latvala, rather. Remember, he's 3.4 slower than Loeb on the first time. This time 3.2 quicker. Jari-Matti Latvala wins stage 10. What a remarkable performance by the young Finn. Really impressive stuff now. Herber had lost over 30 seconds to his teammate during the morning. Luke, can he do anything about that? Well, clearly damage limitation now for the balance of the stage. We'll be concerned about what Danny Sordo is doing. Remember, of course, Ford have made it perfectly clear that Järvinen will get given a position if things are sitting appropriately at the end of the rally. He comes through with the 5th fastest time, 9.6 away from Latvala. What's Danny Sordo able to do? Said before, he won this stage both times last year. Sordo's time was a 2:25.50, 3.1 off of third position, and some 9.6 out of Kievanen on that stage. The gap now 37.2. Ogier though edging away from Meek and a bit closer towards Danny Sordo.
Attention, frein avant gauche 137, pour droite 100. Moins 6 sur... merde, 40 mètres gauche 90 plus million. Sur gauche 110 à fond, 80 mètres gauche 155 frein. Pour droite 100 plus mini juste, droite 100 plus mini juste qui ouvre. Et gauche 140 à fond, 100 mètres, droite 140 moins à fond mini dur. 150 mètres frein, gauche 120 bon pas corde, gauche 120 bon pas corde.
Never crashed out of this event last year. And in a good position, challenging hard. He comes through at the end of this stage though with a time of 25.47.4. Takes 3.1 out of Sordo. Now 1:13 away from him in 5th position.
3 right tight in the watch this money quick last time. Into 3 left in gravel and right 60 long, 3 left tight for 1 foot gravel, 80 line, very tight, 3 right minus.
Very happy that he's closer to what his teammate can do on this stage. Is a really good indicator of how well he's running. Modified his line somewhat, he was to say.
120 line, 6 left and early 6 left, don't cut 100 slowing for tight 5 right and 5 left, opens go out and 6 right in the stop right in the 4 left minus into tight 4 right 43 left cut over bump gravel into 5 plus over Chris.
Well, Chris was to come through 6th fastest on the stage, 14.6 slower than Sordo. Now 23.6 away from Ogier. Well, Mads Osberg had braking problems in the morning. His tongue, an indication of how hard he's concentrated. But the Stobart crew changed the brake pedal and the brake master cylinder and instantly seems to have given him a lot more confidence with the car.
Till kort 4 höger. Slå kort 4 vänster, halv på höger minus. 33 vänster till vinkel höger. 20 i höger halvlång i kort 5 vänster minus. Håll in kort 6 höger. 30 kort 3 vänster minus. 20 smalt 2 höger plus. 35 vänster minus halvlång. Slå 6 höger i kort 3 vänster, 20 som nyper halv på plus.
He comes through with the 7th fastest time. Loses 4.7 to Meek. Now still sitting there in 6th. And that's what it looks like at the end of stage 10. Latvala closes down a little bit on low. 29.6 the gap now. And Kievanen slipping a little bit further away from Latvala and under more pressure from Sordo. With Ogier, Meek, Osberg, Henning, Novikov having had dramas on stage 10, picked up a left rear puncher, lost a minute, but still kept his position. So now we're going to get a chance to ride the stage 11, which is effectively the second pass through the Ribeirão-Debre stage, the 12.27k stage, in its entirety with Danny Sordo. Remember, is the one that was the tarmac section used on stage 2. Stage 2 was a mixture of gravel and tarmac, and it's this 12k section running reversed, described as giving the crews no rest whatsoever. Very uphill middle section, and then of course plunges back down somewhat towards the end. Let's enjoy the ride with Danny Sordo through stage 11 of WRC Spain, round 12 of the World Rally Championship. first split. There was only a tenth of a second between Loeb, Latvala and Ogier. But then Mikko Kievonen had come through with the fastest first split of anyone. Then Danny came through with a split 2 tenths quicker, so currently 3 tenths up on everybody going through the first split. Extending that advantage by the second split. Half a second quicker than Sebastian Loeb. His fight with Ogier, or with Ogier's fight trying to close him down. 1.1 seconds up on Ogier at the second split, the midway point. Final split, the advantage sort of had 1.5 seconds over Loeb. 2.3 over Ogier, of course, the man who's nearest to in terms of the fight. Sordo comes through to win stage 11, his first of the rally and his 5th of the season, and closes the gap down now to Mikko Kievonen, somewhat closer, takes 4.7 out of Kievonen, 2.8 out of Ogier, and at the front Loeb was quicker than Latvala by 0.2, now 29.8, and the other fights going on through the order as they go into the final stage of the day, the final stage of Saturday. Can Sebastian Loeb extend his lead, or will Latvala take a chunk out? We saw drama at the final stage of day one. What we'll see for this one, see you in a moment on Motors. So at the end of stage 11, Loeb leads by 29.8 ahead of Lapvalan and Hieverden, Sordo, Ogier and Meek round out the top 6. The Ponte de la Torres, 13.53 Ks, will round out the Saturday action from Rally Spain. And for Chris Meek, it's been a very strong afternoon by his own standards. He's been pleased he's been able to get closer to Sordo and improve his lines and his technique. 5th fastest on stage 11, just 4.6 away from Danny Sordo. Just 1 second off of Danny Sordo on that final stage of the day. Well, for a man lacking in motivation, as he put it himself after his punches, he's had a double puncher so far. This rally is clearly frustrated at what looks not only to have been a chance of another potential rally win, but more importantly perhaps that could be the end of his World Championship challenge. All the effort was already pretty much behind Loeb. It certainly 100% will be, but could contribute to Citroën clinching the manufacturer's title here in Spain.
Sur gauche en 30 à fond, 80 mètres, droite 128 mini-rail, 128 mini-rail, sur gauche 130 plus pas corde, 130 plus pas corde sur frein 50 mètres, gauche 120 mini, gauche 120 mini,
4th fastest on stage 11.
Et gauche à fond 80 mètres, gauche 130 plus mi-long, gauche 130 plus mi-long.
Comes through with the 3rd fastest time into the day, 1 minute 12 behind Sordo and 30.5 ahead of Meek. After that stage win on 11, Sordo went into the final stage of the day, feeling confident, much happier with his day's rally so far. So, 5th fastest on the final stage of the day for Sordo. 1 minute 12.2 ahead of Ogier, still in 4th position. But as the splits were starting to come through, Mikko Hieverden had found some pace towards the end of the day and was pushing very, very hard, looking really strong to challenge for his first stage win of the rally.
Oikein hidas, tiukka, pidä. 2, vasen hidas, kirraa vähän. Aja, 7. Oikein vasen täys, 120. Lyhyt vasen eri aja, puu ulkona.
So comes through at a time of 7:05.3. See what Lapvalan and Loeb can do at the end of their stage. Arguably the most impressive day on tarmac for Jari-Matti Lapvalan in his career so far as a WRC driver.
20,
If not for that puncher, costing some 44 seconds at the end of a spin and a puncher, to be fair, at the end of day 1. The gap has been hovering around the 30-second mark between Loeb and Lapvalan.
Oikein 2.50 paro, vasen 6 hämää.
Loeb having come through with a 7:06.4, Lapvalan comes through, wins the stage.
Spain and still 2nd place over Robert. What a day career-wise this has been on tarmac.
It's been probably the best day of my career on tarmac ever now, especially when Sebastian Loeb been there and been fighting in Catalonia. So it is okay. I haven't been able to catch him so much, but still I need to be pleased for my day.
What can you do tomorrow?
Pressurize him.
Well, pressurise him he has. Started the day 30.6 seconds behind Loeb. As Loeb has already come through on that final stage in terms of an understanding of where he's going to be. Looking likely that over the day, Jari-Matti will have actually been quicker than Loeb if you take the total day into account. 5 stage wins to Loeb's 4 so far in the rally. A couple of wins for Ogier and 1 for Dani Sordo, as we saw earlier.
Et droite gauche sur droite 130 court frein pour 20 mètres, gauche 110 long tard. Sur droite 110 long pas corde léger.
Of course, a relatively short day on Sunday to come. The longest stage being a 26.5k stage at Santa Marina. Then La Mosara 20.4, and then Col de Techeta, which will be the power stage at the end of the day.
Et droite 60 plus épingle tard. Sur gauche à fond. Et gauche 110 auto.
Not been the supremely dominant Loeb that we've seen on this event so far in his career, but certainly is doing just about enough to keep Latvala at bay at the moment.
Sebastian, that's the end of day 2 in Spain, and it's the lead still, but you may be a little bit surprised of how much Latvala's put the pressure on.
He's going very, very fast. Surprising on tarmac. But okay, I have a good feeling my car is going well, and stage before this one was very tricky, a lot of gravel on the road, but this one was really clean with the big stone on the side. But no problem at all. I think we are in a good rhythm. We have to push because Latvala is pushing hard, but still here, no puncture. That's good.
Obviously 1 day to go. The plan is just to keep it going like this?
Yes, for sure. Now we've done 1 day on tarmac. We didn't lose so much time, I think quite nothing. So it's still equal as it was this morning. Hope tomorrow we have 30-second lead around it, and should be enough if we make no mistake.
Well, Jari-Matti took 2.2 seconds out of Loeb on that final stage. Loeb was 4th on the stage and took 2.3 rather on the day out of Loeb. So impressive from Latvala, Hjevenen, Sordo, Ogier, Meek, Osberg, Henning and Novikov plus Matt Wilson round out the point scorers at the end of day 2 in the Costa Dorada. Well, the final day will be very interesting if Jari-Matti continues to push that hard. He wants to go for the win. But he's going to hopefully pressure Loeb into a state from his point of view. It would be surprising, but it's happened already this year. There's no doubt that the fans are going to love the action, whatever may happen. We are going to be taking you through those final 6 stages of Rally Spain here on Motors TV. Can Sordo get any more stage wins? Can Novikov keep it on the road? And most importantly, can Sebastian Loeb help Citroën clinch the World Rally Championship for manufacturers and get just that little bit closer to title number 8? Find out. We'll see you soon on Motors TV.